My first month renting cars on Turo is officially coming to an end, and in this video, we're gonna break down how much revenue my car has generated so far, along with its projected income moving forward. But on that note, the Turo car behind me just got back from its last trip, and you guys can see she is looking pretty dirty. It's not that dirty, but it's definitely below my standards for a car pre-rental. So let's get cleaning. And after a little bit of cleaning and taking photos, the car was ready to check in for the next trip. Our next trip on this car is at 1 p.m. today, lasting for 2 days until Saturday at 12:30 p.m. when it gets returned. And the total earnings on this trip will be $79.04. But first, we have to drop it off at the airport, which is about 10 minutes away from here. Living this close to the airport has been an absolute game changer for my Turo business. My old apartment was only about 15 minutes away from the airport, but it also had like no free parking. So I was constantly getting parking tickets to a point where it was really eating into my Turo profit. I think in the year 2023, I paid over $1,000 in parking tickets. But at my new house, the nice thing is there's plenty of street parking. On that note, guys, we've now made it to the airport, and now we gotta pull into the parking lot right here and grab ourselves a ticket.
For ticket, please press on screen or scan your monthly car. Welcome, please take your ticket.
Thank you. So now that we're in the parking lot, we gotta quickly find parking for this car, which is always difficult, because I think I found the perfect spot right next to this big old truck. The car is now parked, but one thing I'm now doing to maximize profits on all of my airport trips is I'm now making the guests pay for parking. It's only $3 or $4, but across many trips, that can really add up. Now that the car is parked, I'm gonna go ahead and put the keys in the lockbox over here. Putting the keys inside, and now let's close it up. The last thing we have to do before we leave the car here at the airport is send an Apple Maps link with GPS coordinates to the car to the guest. Then it was time to book an Uber home, costing $14.94, and it's gonna be here in 2 minutes. I'll see you guys when we're back at the house. Bye, thank you. The constant Ubers home and back to the airport have really been eating into my profit margin. Since starting rentals on this car on October 7th, I have spent a grand total of $72.67 on Uber rides, while offering guests free delivery to the airport, so we gotta do something about this. I'm going to change my airport delivery fee from free to $25, and this is just to cover most of the two $15 Uber rides required when you're doing trips like this. But other than that small adjustment, things with my Turo business have been going really well. Since starting rentals on October 7th, the car has not had a period of more than 24 hours where it didn't get any bookings. And before the car went out on its most recent trip, it was sitting at 1,020 miles on the odometer. The car started being rented with slightly over 100 miles, and today is October 24th, so that's an average of 46 miles per day. And if the car continues at that rate, we will be sitting at 16,790 miles after the car is rented for its first year. Depreciation and car maintenance is a huge expense with Turo that people don't often talk about, so my goal with this fleet is to be as transparent as possible about my numbers. With 16,790 miles on the car year one, that means roughly 3 oil changes at, let's say, $40 each. But for this car, the dealership had a deal where the first 3 oil changes are completely free, but we still have tire rotation, which is another $150 per year. And looking at some other things on this car's general maintenance plan, it's gonna cost around $500 annually to maintain. Everything else is covered by a warranty I purchased that covers any major repairs on the car up to 150,000 miles. And with that in mind, the vehicle is set to earn $755 in its first month in October, and that's with the first rental being on October 7th, so this technically isn't even a full month. But you have to remember, insurance comes out to almost exactly $100 per month, and although maintenance for the first year of this car is nearly free, for the following years, it's gonna average out to around $41.67 monthly. The total cash flow for month number 1 on this Turo car comes out to $577.33 after subtracting $100 for insurance, $72.67 for Ubers, and I also did pay for parking for one guest at $5. Obviously, I did also have startup expenses like purchasing the car, the warranty, a lockbox, a GPS, and a vacuum to clean the car, but we're gonna get into all those expenses later. But for now, this brings us to our final boss, good old car depreciation. This is a weird one because as a Turo host, you don't see car depreciation happening right in front of your eyes. But especially for people financing fleets, car depreciation is the silent killer that makes a lot of Turo cars end up in the repo lot. With 16,000 miles annually being driven on my car, I plan to rent it out until it reaches 150,000 miles, at which point the car will be 9 years of age and the warranty will have expired. According to this depreciation calculator, the value of the car will go down by $15,804, leaving the car with a retail value of around $6,000. And taking a look at the estimated depreciation throughout the years, if we continue cash flowing around $25 daily on this car, the break-even point on this Sentra, including depreciation, is around 1 year, because at that point, the car will have depreciated $8,050 in value, value, and the net cash flow on rentals will be roughly $9,125. It's been a couple days and the guest just texted me that they returned the car to the airport parking lot, so now it's time to go ahead and book an Uber, and the total cost comes out to a little under $13. And our Uber driver's gonna be here in 4 minutes. And I just realized the previous Turo guest returned the car at 100% fuel, and I gave it to her with like 75%. So shout out to that guest. Our Uber's gonna be here very soon. Hi. Thank you. All right, guys, we just made it to the airport to go pick up the Turo car, and the first thing we have to do is look through the lot and find the car. It's honestly a lot easier than you guys think since I have a spare key, and all I need to do is just click the lock button until I can hear the car, and then I can find it. I just found the Nissan Sentra. Car is looking pretty good if you ask me. Twist the lock. We got the keys, baby. The car is literally super clean. It needs a little vacuuming, but other than that, we're good to go. And we made $79 for the guest driving 146 miles, which I think is a pretty decent return. Also, we got more gas than what the car had when we originally rented it out. With that being said, the car is going to be going on another trip today at 10 a.m. and it's going to be rented until October 30th at 10 a.m. So now we got to get the car cleaned up and then it'll be ready for another trip tomorrow. And after vacuuming the car, it went out on a 5-day trip with a guest. Today is November 1st, and as you guys can see, the Turo car just got back from its final rental of the month. First up, we have to unlock the car, and going inside, you guys can see the car is perfectly clean. The renter was nice enough to literally clean the car up. Oh my gosh, it's perfect in here. Shout out that renter big time. But now, guys, we are going to be taking the Turo car to the airport because it has yet another trip in like an hour. Luckily, I don't really have to clean the car too much. I'm probably just gonna drop it off for the rental looking exactly like this. But quickly, let's start up the car and make sure that the guest returned it on a full tank. Vehicle was returned at a full tank of gas with 1,807 miles on the odometer. That seems like a lot of miles, so upon checking out, it looks like the guest drove a little over 500 miles across 5 days, and that's still under Turo's range of 200 miles per day, so I don't get any extra money for overage miles this time. Dealing with airport rentals and also having a newer Turo car, I think has played a huge role in getting higher quality guests on Turo that actually take care of your vehicle. Honestly, this experience has been way better so far than when I was renting Turo cars for my old apartment when half of my clientele were crackheads, which I honestly do miss in some way because I love the chaos of it all, and the content on my YouTube channel was pristine. But on that note, the returns with my Turo car business have been really good, especially when you compare it to something like this vending machine. This machine earns around $400 per month in a 15-unit apartment complex, but of course, we have to account for product costs, which brings me down to $200 per month in profit. But now, guys, opening this machine up and going over to this compartment right here, we have to take off the bill acceptor, and let's see how much cash we got inside. Inside the bill acceptor, you guys can see we got a pretty small stack of cash, but I can definitely see some 5s in there. I can tell by the color already. Look at that money, baby. I'll take it. After counting up the cash, we made a little over $34 in bills for the last week, which is a bit lower than average. This is the stack for last week, and it was over 60 bucks. But if you add in all these coins we collected, it adds another $13.80 for the last 2 weeks. But keep in mind that this location gets a lot of credit card sales. Between vending machines and Turo cars, I'd have to say that I definitely enjoy Turo more, although it's a lot more work. I am currently running into some issues though with my vending machine business. Primarily with this vape vending machine I'm trying to place in a bar. The city of Milwaukee is giving me some minor issues trying to get a tobacco license to sell vapes on this machine, even though the machine has built-in age verification. But I have heard there's a lot less regulation in other states like Texas, Nevada, or even Illinois for some reason. On that note, I'm sure I'm gonna figure things out and get this vending machine on location within the next month or so, but for now, I'm gonna keep on collecting rental income for my Turo car and save it all up until I have $5,000, and then I'm gonna use that money to buy a cheap car to add to the fleet. And before you guys go, if you wanna get up to 15 free stocks, be sure to check the top link down below in the description and sign up for Moomoo. If you deposit $100, you get 5 free stocks, and once your account reaches $1,000 in deposits, you get another 10 free stocks. It's an amazing deal, it's literally free money, and I highly recommend you guys do that before you go. Peace out.